All right. Welcome back to the KR Daily Transmission. We're going live on YouTube and also on Instagram for the first time simultaneously. Hey, everyone out there. So good to be back with you live. I hope you appreciated the videos that my team made for our community last week. And we're getting ready for all things Sedona, all things psychic development. Our live conference Training Immersive begins next Tuesday night, day one opening ceremony with Isis and Hathor. And then we're going to be continuing our journey of live training. Hi, so good to see you. For our psychic development training specifically for spiritual leadership. We're going to be working with all 8 key codes. So we're going to begin our day with Green Tara and then moving into Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, Joan of Arc. Then we'll also be working with Kuan Yin, who's actually quite a powerful psychic development teacher. Of course, White Buffalo Woman, the Sky Grandmothers will be making their appearance, and we'll round out with our closing ceremony with the Sophia Dragons. So those dates are August 23rd through the 25th. In beautiful Sedona, Arizona. I hope you can make it with us. And if you can't be in person with me, please know that you can join us live through the virtual conference access pass. So all week long, I'm going to be dropping little tips to get us excited about what's coming. And part of what I'm sharing this week comes from a curriculum already available on my website, the Psychic Development Training Curriculum. And this is a wonderful course to really dive into. It's only 9, I believe it's about 10 videos, and it really gets your heart, your body, heart, and mind ready for the depth of activation we're going to be receiving in Sedona. I love channeling in Sedona, as I shared in one of our more recent lives. So hot here, sorry. Sedona is 98% clear quartz. So you are literally in a basin of crystalline, grounded earth energy that is supporting your chakra system to open up and really become activated by the presence of the divinity within you, your higher self-consciousness, and of course, the Ascended Masters. So today I'm pulling some notes, some tips to go over with you from our psychic development training curriculum, which we did broadcast live from Sedona 2 years ago. So this particular curriculum focuses on how to really come into alignment with accepting that you are psychic for yourself first, in your personal life, for your individual reality. And what we're focusing on in Sedona this year is how you can go deeper into your psychic development training for serving your clientele, serving your community, offering private sessions, and how to intuitively guide the growth and the expansion of your platforms, your ministries, your businesses. I mean, we're living in extraordinary times where if you're not leaning into your intuition, if you're not learning how to trust when red flags come up, if you're not being willing to really pay attention to the signs that your higher self is providing for you, that your chakra system is receiving intuitive psychic information all day long, unless you're really aligned with getting on board with your own psychic gifts and skills, like getting on your own team, honestly, like you're going to get knocked over by the next few years. Like we're up against some very extraordinary circumstances. We're already in them. We're kind of like lobsters boiling in the pot of world events. And for those who have eyes to see and ears to hear, as Jesus taught, those who are attuning themselves to Buddha Christ consciousness, you're going to have that daily walk of alignment to guide yourself through these extraordinary times. But honestly, like, wouldn't you want to just develop your psychic gifts to such a point that, like, not only are you surviving these times, that you're learning how to thrive abundantly in these times through serving others? Because honestly, excuse me, one of the major things that's happening during such polarizing times is we're all being called into our divine purpose. So if you haven't gotten into alignment with living in your divine purpose up until this point, the extremity of these times, the polarization of these times that we're living in, it's like a lightning bolt waking everybody up who did come here with a starseed angelic mission to fulfill. And if you're watching this transmission, you have an angelic mission to fulfill. You have a divine purpose to fulfill. There's no way that you could be attracted to these channels or this work in any, you're here for a reason. And part of the reason is to come into alignment with deeply accepting who you are as a divine being, having a very heroic human experience, and that you have been blessed with intuitive psychic gifts that everyone has, but chances are good you have practiced using these intuitive psychic gifts in many other lifetimes. And so what the Sophia Co-platform offers is oracular curriculums, meaning they've all been directly channeled from the Ascended Masters, such as this psychic development training program, that support you to unfurl your angel wings, to blossom in your psychic gifts, to learn how to live an intuitively guided life, and to come back into alignment with your direct relationship with Source by activating the divine genome within you and activating your chakra centers, which we call chakra temples, with the presence of your higher self, and learning how to integrate your human awareness into the light of your higher self that can operate your daily human experience from a completely different perspective, from the perspective of God consciousness. That's how we navigate these crazy polarizing times. That's how we live in abundance and prosperity when it seems as though all of reality is melting down, because we return to the source of our abundance. We return to the source of our true empowerment, which is God, whatever you call Source, Holy Spirit, Christ consciousness, Buddha consciousness. It's the omniscient consciousness that is guiding us in this lifetime to our greatest success and our greatest service, our greatest sovereign potential. So today I'm going to share a little bit about the root chakra, both what keeps the root chakra contracted from receiving psychic information and what helps expand the root chakra to receive intuitive information, psychic information that can help guide your daily reality. So again, these are tips that are coming from our original introductory curriculum. And you can learn more about that curriculum on my website at kaia.com, which leads to our spiritual leadership psychic development training that's happening next week in Sedona, Arizona. So all right, let's talk about this root chakra situation. All right, let's get really real. The past, I don't know, couple of 100,000 years, there's been some beautiful golden ages of, freedom, sovereignty, abundance on the planet, but there's been an enormous amount of oppression from other races upon humanity. And we have been programmed through religion, through our education systems, through government programming to believe that we are not intuitive, to force us into a separated state of consciousness from psychic abilities. So much so that most people feel afraid to even share that they know that they're psychic, or they feel afraid to share that they do want to live a more intuitive based life, or that they do live an intuitive based life and that's actually the secret to their success, but maybe they keep it a secret. Here's the thing. We have been burned as witches. We have been struck down by religions. We have been tortured. We have watched our families or our movements in other lifetimes be struck down because of the gifts of intuition, because of how powerful we are when we come into alignment with this 8 major chakra system that empowers the human experience to become in alignment with God consciousness, which is always directing us to our creative genius, to living in greater abundance, and to living a life filled with genuine magic that changes the world, that transforms this world. So when we're talking about the collective fear around psychic development, I want you to know that even some of the most out of the closet psychic people that I've ever met, on some level, are still learning how to release their fears about being seen as psychic or being seen as intuitive. So this is something that is affecting all of us, no matter how much you're serving or leading, or how much you're like, I don't think I'm psychic, or maybe you're somewhere in between. And what's important to understand is that we are overcoming the collective wounding about who we really are and about the gifts that God has given us to share with this world. And so when we begin our journey in the psychic development training curriculum, which is available on my website, at the Root Chakra Temple, what we are facing together is this, honestly, a mind control program over this entire planet to separate humanity from its intuitive foundation of existence. So like, your intuition is foundational. That root chakra temple, it's your foundation for living a deeply connected, divinely guided life. And when you are afraid to reveal who you really are because of the collective pressure and programming that's attempting to keep you from who you really are, what's happening is you are actually separating yourself from the intuitive guidance that you could be receiving every day from the very foundation of your core, as well as the blessings of abundance that would come from you living an intuitive based life where you are in alignment with that root chakra temple. So there's so much programming around the root chakra that has to be released and cleared, where you choose the intuitions of that root chakra center over what your family says about it, over maybe what your partner says about it, what your job mates say about it, what your church mates say about it, what your community or your neighbor might say about it. It's like, when we are approaching the root chakra temple, what we are saying is, I'm choosing myself. I'm choosing my most authentic, heroic, courageous self. I'm choosing to be in a relationship with the very core, the very foundation of my being. So then I can then unpack my most authentic human embodiment, my most authentic psychic gift skills and intuitive offerings that's going to transform this world, because I'm standing on a solid foundation of self-acceptance, no matter how the collective feels about it. No matter how I've been programmed to be afraid of what people might say or how people might attack what I'm doing, I'm going to choose to stand on the foundation, the truth of my sovereign divinity, and share my gifts, skills, and talents with those who are ready to receive them. I'm also going to open up and unfurl my direct relationship with the earth, because your root chakra wants to plug into the earth. And one of the things that I find really interesting about psychic development is everybody says they want to be, psychically open, but they're terrified of it because of what's happened here on earth, on this planet, to people who are psychic. And so part of the biggest foundational work that Ascended Master Isis supports us with in this root chakra temple activation is like really opening up our root chakra to reconnect with Mother Earth. Why? Because the electromagnetic field of Mother Earth wants to support your psychic abilities to expand and reach out across the planet to those people who need to receive the messages coming through you, the healing light coming through you, whatever professional offering, whether it's products or services that you are here to light up other people's reality with. When you plug into the earth, through a very clear, grounded connection through that root chakra temple to the very heart of the earth, what you're saying is, I'm willing to co-create with Mother Earth's consciousness. And because Mother Earth is everywhere, and because Mother Earth is within all of us, because our bodies literally come from the earth, they're manifestations of elements of the earth, what's interesting is that it amplifies your understanding of how far your reach can be. And it amplifies how far your message can go, because the Mother Earth's consciousness knows far more than your localized human awareness does about the clients that need to come in contact with you, about the community members that don't even know who you are. And so when you connect to the earth, and you choose to dial into that foundation, excuse me, what's happening is you're choosing to believe that it's safe to be your true self, to step into the gifts of your divine purpose, and to expand the foundational base of your root chakra temple wider. You're saying, I'm in co-creation with the earth. Earth Mother has got my back. I expand my root chakra temple foundation and I sink it deep into the earth. And from that space of clear empowerment, the temple of who I am, my human embodiment can grow stronger, expand wider, and have a greater musculature of a message for others to receive that they desperately need at this time. So when we choose to co-create with the earth, that's our number one tip for today. You are choosing to amplify your psychic gifts because you're drawing up from the consciousness of Mother Earth to help you feel safe, to stabilize your grounded delivery of these psychic messages, this intuitive information coming through. When you're connected to Mother Earth's consciousness, you also feel that divine mother support to truly accept yourself for who you are, that we all came here to be unique in our offering, that we're all psychic, we're all intuitive, we are all divine. Mother Earth knows that better than any of us, because she wouldn't bother to allow you to incarnate here on her body. Like, she's in this co-creative incarnation journey with you. She's saying yes to your evolution. And so when you choose to come into that co-creative, clear, conscious connection with the earth, and you say, I am willing to live a more intuitive based life, which for centuries, many indigenous cultures, we honor indigenous cultures as being shamanic, being intuitively guided, connected to the spirit. Well, why? It's because they're connected to the earth. So if you want to amplify your intuitive psychic gifts, you will take the time every morning, while you're calling in that circle of empowerment, to also deeply ground and connect with Mother Earth. So from that space of deep connection with Mother Earth, you learn how to remain even more deeply grounded in your intuitive psychic offering. And this is really big for me personally when it comes to psychic development training. We don't need to be weird about being psychic. Can I get an amen in the chat, or whatever you want to say, a hallelujah? I'm going to say that again. We don't need to be weird about being psychic. The psychic gifts, channeling, into intuitively led professional offerings, is like, it's surrounded by all of this weird, programming that to be psychic, you have to be off your rocker, you have to be an addict, you have to be an alcoholic, you have to, constantly see dead people, you don't have good boundaries, always giving, maybe you have to have a near-death experience to activate your psychic gifts, like maybe, I don't know. It's just all of this weird is in the history of channeling. It doesn't need to be there. If you go back to like Hathor's mystery school tradition, which is extremely psychic, or Green Tara's mystery school tradition in Shambhala, it's like, we're talking about people, like entire communities that just accepted that being psychic was just part of being human. It was just part of fulfilling your divine purpose. And the more we can normalize this, the more our root chakras can unplug from all of the fear mongering that happens around psychic development. Psychic development is about coming online in the wholeness and the fullness of all of your gifts and talents. Like every one of your chakras is constantly receiving information, which we share about in my psychic development training program. Your whole body is spiritual technology for receiving direct messages from your higher self and directly from the source. And the more that we accept who we really are, the more that we normalize that this is actually how we were created. We were created to live in attunement with the earth. We were created to live in attunement with our spiritual guides and our guardian angels. And most importantly, above all of that, we were created to live in attunement with whatever you call God, whether it's source, great spirit, Buddha or Christ consciousness, Sophia Christ consciousness, that is the consciousness that created all that is. It created your soul as sovereign and divine, and our psychic gifts dial us into our direct connections to that source, which is continually guiding us to our greatest success. So remember, when you are wondering if it's safe to be psychic, double down on your direct connection to the earth, because that helps your root chakra temple to stabilize and expand. And as we know, the wider a foundation is for the structure of a building, the more stable that building is, the more grounded and integrated that structure can be to build upon. Because as you move up the tree of life in the human body, each of these chakras want to expand out their light and their energy and their abilities really, really wide. Because you have a really big mission. And so, of course, your chakra temples want to shine as the light of God in every direction to help transform this world. So the more stable and grounded you're willing to be within your root chakra, and by the way, that means being in your physical body, not escaping it, which is another big part of what I share in psychic development training. Like, being psychic doesn't mean you leave your body. Being psychic means you are fully inhabiting your body all the way down into your root. That's how we stay clear as channels and clear as intuitives, guiding others. It's not by leading the body. It's by training the body, physically caring for your body, working out, getting strong, so that psychic information doesn't knock you over. In fact, you carry a spiritual musculature that allows for you to deliver psychic messages in a very grounded, integrated, and helpful way. Because let me tell you, messages for others, intuitive guidance for others, it has to be delivered in a way that people can receive it, which is its own intuitive art form, which we will be discussing in Sedona next week. It's like, you can't just deliver a message in a way that people are going to immediately reject and run from. Part of intuitive development for spiritual leadership is learning the art form of diplomacy. How do I package this message for it to actually land in the heart of someone else, or in the heart of a community that actually really needs this guidance? Again, that really is also a blessing from the root chakra, because if you know your root chakra temple and you're inside your root chakra and you're expanding it out and you are grounding here in your daily embodiment, in your daily life, in your spiritual practice, you are a grounded divine force of nature serving your divine purpose. What happens is that you discover for yourself, like, what messages actually land for you and what doesn't land for you. And it's from that somatic, full body knowledge of what really is authentically working for you in your own daily practice that then you have a deeper understanding of how to serve others with your intuitive gifts. I hope these tips for the root chakra temple were helpful for you today. It's been really fun to witness you in the chat and in the comment feed. Thanks so much for joining us today for today's KR Daily Transmission. If you've enjoyed this information, please go ahead and like this video. You can also share your comments in the video comment feed. We love reading your feedback. And if you have any questions about joining us in Sedona for this super potent spiritual leadership immersive psychic development training happening live in Sedona, Arizona next week, we start on August 23rd. Please feel free to reach out to my team angels at Kaia.com, KAIARA.com. They'd be happy to get on the phone with you, WhatsApp, whatever. Reach out, answer all your questions. We've got an incredible crew showing up to Sedona next week. I'm actually really, really excited. And again, if you can't join us in person, join us virtually on the virtual conference access pass. It's going to be really potent. The plus side, though, about joining us live is you can get on stage with me and I can mentor you live in person and what we call step up to the mic sessions, where you can get up to the microphone with me and I can help coach you and guide you in sharing your intuitive messages to an audience of individuals, to a beautiful, loving community of light workers. So It's an extremely emotionally safe environment where you get to explore the vulnerable edges of your own psychic development training and taking your spiritual leadership to the next level in these extreme times of global change. We need your light. We're so grateful for you. It's such an honor to be any part of your spiritual journey to support your angelic mission here on earth. All my love to you. Always, namaste. We'll see you tomorrow here on YouTube Live for the KR Daily Transmission at 12 noon Pacific. Lots of love.